Cecilio Lopez, a renowned cave explorer, was trapped deep inside a Peruvian cave on August 2014. His thirst for wonders led him into a desperate 12-day struggle for his life. Cecilio's passion had always pushed him to the edge. He was a master of squeezing through impossible spaces, an expert in subterranean navigation. But this time, he had ventured too far. But what type of person was Cecilio? Let's delve a bit deeper into his personality and know more about him. With over 22 years of caving and diving experience, he was a master of exploring the world's most complex caves. His background as a member of the Madrid Rescue Group for over 15 years showcased his technical expertise, and it cemented his reputation as one of Spain's most skilled cave rescuers. This wasn't just a hobby for Cecilio. He was deeply fascinated by archaeology, believing that caves held invaluable clues to understanding past civilizations. Museums and archaeological organizations sought his help for expeditions, relying on his knowledge and courage to explore uncharted depths. Cecilio had an innate ability to read terrain, map unexplored tunnels, and squeeze through spaces that seemed impossible to pass. His expeditions took him across the globe, through caves in Spain, Mexico, Italy, and beyond. However, it was the raw, untouched potential of Peruvian caves that truly captivated him. The name Intimaché had been swirling in Cecilio's mind for months. A friend first mentioned it over a casual lunch, describing it as the second deepest cave in all of Peru. But it was more than just depth that intrigued him. Rumors told of ancient artifacts, whispers of a historical significance that had been shielded from modern eyes for centuries, perhaps even millennia. Intimaché, located in the remote Amazon region, was a monster of a cave system. It stretched over a mile in length and plummeted down a staggering 1,200 feet. The local Quechua name, meaning Cave of the Sun, hinted at its potential archaeological importance. But with those tantalizing promises came danger. It was notoriously difficult to navigate. Claustrophobic passages, razor-sharp rocks, and treacherous drops into deep pits. Cecilio wasn't intimidated. He had conquered countless challenging caves, but Intimaché offered a unique allure. The possibility that he could be the first person in modern times to lay eyes on something untouched for centuries fueled his explorer's heart. Cecilio's research was meticulous, yet there was an undercurrent of the unknown that both thrilled and unsettled him. He knew there were risks, but the payoff felt immeasurable. And so the expedition was set in motion. The first few days of the expedition held an infectious sense of excitement. Cecilio, along with a small team of trusted colleagues, found themselves surrounded by the lush green of the Peruvian Amazon. The entrance to Intimaché loomed ahead, a gaping hole promising a descent into a hidden world. As they went in, their initial sense of awe was tempered by the immediate demands of the environment. There was a childlike wonder in these early stages as they worked through the familiar sections, mapping out their route and marveling at the cave's natural formations. Cecilio led with confidence. His instructions were calm and clear, instilling trust in those who followed him into the belly of the cave. Day by day they pressed further, their progress measured in meters. The spaces grew tighter, requiring contortions, crawls, and an acceptance of the constant, damp press of rock against skin. But with each challenge conquered, the team's morale still surprisingly remained high. The deeper they descended, the more traces of the past began to emerge. Ancient pottery shards, remnants of tools. These seemingly mundane discoveries filled the team with a thrill that rivaled any adrenaline rush. Yet, with each find, there was also a growing sense of unease. The weight of the rock above them felt oppressive. The humidity clung to them like a shroud. and the silence was only broken by the drip-drip of water echoing through the darkness. Cecilio, ever optimistic, reassured his team. They were making significant progress, and the potential for groundbreaking discoveries felt close enough to touch. There was a lingering sense, however, that Intimache wasn't just challenging them physically, it was starting to play with their minds. The isolation gnawed at them, whispers of doubt began to creep in. Little did they know, their greatest fears were about to be realized. With each day, their goal drew tantalizingly closer, the unexplored depths of Intimache. Cecilio's focus was unwavering. He was driven by a mix of determination and obsession, a need to see what lay hidden at the very heart of this subterranean labyrinth. The final push would require every ounce of their technical skill and mental resilience. The terrain became increasingly hostile. Smooth passages gave way to jagged outcrops, forcing them to twist their bodies in painful contortions. Squeezes that would have been a challenge before now felt suffocating in their tightness. Each inch forward was a struggle against the relentless rock. The air thinned, making every breath a labored gasp. Cecilio, leading the charge, navigated these obstacles with precision. But even his expertise couldn't mask the growing tension amongst the team. There was a shared, unspoken fear. What if this passage didn't widen? What if they became trapped? The echoes of dripping water sounded like a mocking countdown, reminding them that time was not their ally in this unforgiving place. Their relentless forward momentum came to an abrupt and terrifying halt. Cecilio, scaling a particularly treacherous vertical shaft, felt a sickening shift beneath his hand. A crucial anchor point had given way. Time seemed to slow as a chunk of rock crumbled, sending him tumbling into darkness. The impact was brutal. A wave of agonizing pain crashed over him, sharp, searing jolts stabbing through his ribs, followed by a sickening numbness spreading through his legs. He lay trapped, the unforgiving rock pressing in from all sides. Panic surged through him as the reality of his situation sank in. His headlamp cast meager light on the twisted wreckage of his body. Broken, helpless. He was utterly alone in the depths of the cave, his team likely unaware of his sudden disappearance. Each ragged breath brought a new wave of despair. The silence was suffocating, amplifying the pounding of his terrified heart. Cecilio, the fearless explorer, had become the cave's prisoner. Up above, an uneasy silence echoed through the cave as Cecilio's absence became apparent. At first, it was a flicker of concern, then a chilling realization. His teammate closest to where Cecilio had vanished felt a wave of dread wash over him. A muffled cry confirmed their worst fears. Disbelief turned to a desperate burst of action. Frantic communication through the dim radio link revealed the gravity of the situation. It was decided. One would stay with Cecilio, offering what comfort they could in that claustrophobic tomb, while the other would undertake a perilous climb back to the surface for help. Every minute felt like an agonizing eternity, as fear and determination warred within the remaining team members. Back in the depths, Cecilio's companion descended into the darkness. Finding him pinned in the unforgiving rock, he spoke words of reassurance, even as his own heart trembled with the enormity of the situation. It was only a glimmer of connection in the vast, crushing isolation, but for Cecilio, it was a lifeline, a flicker of hope to cling to. After his fall, Cecilio lay trapped for an agonizing 12 days. His broken ribs made breathing excruciating, and he couldn't move his legs. He battled waves of shock, pain, and fear. As days turned into nights, the complete darkness and oppressive silence played tricks on his mind. He rationed his meager water supply, desperately clinging to hope. After 5 harrowing days, a Peruvian medical team finally reached him. They administered morphine, which offered a temporary but crucial respite from the crushing pain. However, his situation remained desperate. Medical personnel stabilized him as best they could within the cave's limitations. Their focus was managing his pain and preventing further injuries, knowing that the extraction itself would be an additional brutal ordeal. Meanwhile, specialized cavers arrived with a rigid stretcher designed to protect Cecilio's broken body. This wasn't just hauling a man up a shaft, they needed to minimize any further trauma that could jeopardize his survival. The rigging system took time. Cavers painstakingly analyzed the route, installing ropes, pulleys, and anchors at strategic points. This complex network would be Cecilio's lifeline, allowing them to maneuver the stretcher through impossibly tight sections of the cave. Once in place, the system was rigorously tested, adjusted, and retested. Everything had to be perfect. One slip could have catastrophic consequences. The extraction itself was an agonizing process. Once secured to the stretcher, Cecilio's ascent began. Rescuers worked in shifts, their muscles burning as they strained against the ropes. Progress was measured in mere inches. Every turn, every jagged outcrop was a battle between man and unrelenting rock. Throughout this, his medical condition was relayed outward. After what felt like an eternity, Cecilio was finally extracted from the cave. He was immediately taken to a medical facility for further treatment. The rescue was a success, thanks to the tireless efforts of the rescue team and Cecilio's own determination to survive. Cecilio's story is an inspiration to us all. It shows us that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, the human spirit can triumph. We can overcome any obstacle if we set our minds to it. Cecilio's story is also a reminder of the importance of teamwork. The rescue team worked together tirelessly to save Cecilio's life. Without their cooperation, he would not have survived. We can all learn from Cecilio's story. It teaches us the importance of determination, teamwork, and the human spirit. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel Tales of Tragedy now and make sure to watch our other videos as well.